So in our yesterday's session, we have seen generic datasets and generic pipelines. So we have completed metadata. So we are using a combination of metadata along with the lookup activity. So let us see what we have done. In the metadata, I'm checking if a table is existing or not. Let's go to the settings. Okay, we are looking into the table called products. If this table exists, I'm checking the count of that table. Let us see. I'm checking the count of that table. Okay. So let us run this pipeline. Let's say based on the count, we might have a requirement. Okay. Based on the count, let's say if it is greater than 5,000, I want to copy into one table. If it is greater than 10,000, I want to copy into other table like that. Okay. Just assume that. Okay, based on the output of this activity, we will be designing our further pipeline. Let's wait for a minute or two, it gets refreshed. Okay, I think the metadata is complete. Oh, it failed. Cannot connect SQL database contact. Okay, SQL server is down. Let's bring it up. SQL DB. This is the server. Sorry, I have to open the database. Azure DE database. Query editor. Login with SQL authentication. Connect. Allow the IP. Now connect. Okay, let's try this now. Debug this one more time. Okay, meanwhile, let us see. I think the products table has around 10,000 rows. Let's decide what to do. If the count is greater than 5,000, okay, let's say I want to load into, first of all, let's get the files. Download CSV files. Okay, I'll download the small files now. Let's say customers. Download this 100 records file. And what else we have? People also download this 100 records file. Okay, now let us see that if it is greater than 5,000, I should copy customers. Otherwise, I should copy people. Okay, this is my requirement. Based on the output of that count, I need to do this. Let's see, both of them are successful now. The count is 10,000 rows. Okay, so let's write our pipeline. So first of all, in order to decide whether it is 500 or 10,000, we should have an if activity. So drag and drop a if activity. We have already discussed if activity, but still I'm doing this because I wanted to show you the connection between the lookup and the if condition. How lookup is used basically, not only if, it can be used with anything. Okay. So now I'm connecting lookup with the if condition. Let's write our condition. So write an expression here. So what is this? If the count, so there should be a greater than function. If the count is greater than 5000, in order to do that greater than function, we should use this greater than. Okay, greater than what? Greater than the output of this. Greater than lookup product. Where is this lookup product counts of the first row? Because the data is available in the first row value. Did I paste it here? And similar to this JSON object, the lookup will also provide the JSON object that contains an object called first row with the number of columns. Sorry, the number of rows. First row. So it should be greater than what? 5000. Okay, if this number is greater than 5000, then it should do some activity. Okay, the condition is configured. Now, if it is true, if that condition is true, copy the customers. Let's search for the copy activity. Let's name it as copy customers. Select the source. I'll select the generic. First of all, let's upload the files to a data lake. From data lake, I want to copy to the database. You cannot directly access the files in your local to ADF. That's why we need to load it into the lake. Containers, landing. So let's create another folder with today's date 07. Into this, I'll upload both the people and the customers. Okay, people and the customers. Okay, so let's come back to our copy. Select the source dataset as generic lake table, lake files. Let's fill the values. Container is, sorry, we should provide the values here. Container is landing and folder is, I'm providing the hard-coded value 0507, or you can write the dynamic expression to pick the values in the current dates folder, and the file name is customers. Okay, if it is greater than 5000, this is what I should do. So along with that, let's say I also want to have few additional columns. I want to have the load timestamp. When was this file loaded? Okay, for that, instead of writing this, I will add the dynamic content for capturing the current timestamp or the timestamp at which the file is getting loaded. Add dynamic content. For getting the current timestamp, what you should do? UTC now. Okay, so I want to load this. Okay, now the source is configured. Let's go to sync. Uh, I think the customers table is already available. Okay, so let's say use that customers table. But what I want to do is before loading the data into the customers table, I should truncate it. Okay, so the file structure is same. The current customers file and older customer file structure is same. I know that you can open the files and see. Okay, truncate table pvo dot customers table. Okay, I am truncating this table. Before loading the data, I want to run this pre-copy script. Before copying the data, I want to do this. Okay, now sync is also configured. Uh, let's use this auto create, or let's use a new table because I have added a new column, right? Load timestamp that is not already there on the table. Let's use the new table. Sorry, go to sync, select the generic table. Let's provide the schema. Database is customers latest. I'll name it as the latest. So auto create the table. So I don't want to truncate because this is the first time we are creating. Okay, let it be. So now the configuration is done. Come back to the main pipeline. Okay, again open the if activity. So if it is true, I'm configuring customers. If it is false, I should configure people. Again drag and drop this. You might be wondering that instead of using this copy activity every time, let's say we already have a generic copy activity, right? Generic pipeline which does a copy activity. Why don't we use that? Okay, so we can use that, but in order to use that, we need some other activity. We cannot directly refer another pipeline here. Let's say, oh, sorry, if condition activities, we cannot directly add that activity, I mean the pipeline here. For that, in order to execute one pipeline from another, we need execute pipeline activity. Okay, first of all, let us run till here, or let me create another pipeline which will do the execute activity that I will call it here. So create a new pipeline. Let's say execute pipeline. This execute pipeline is to execute one pipeline from another one. Okay. So now let's assume this is our pipeline. From here I want to execute the copy generic. Let's see where is that copy generic. Be using generic data sets. Generic copy pipeline. I want to call this pipeline. Okay, so execute. The name of this is generic copy pipeline. So the name of this is execute activity. Execute activity. It will execute one pipeline from another. Okay, so this is the name of the activity. Go to settings. See here, it is asking which pipeline do you want to invoke. Invoke means trigger. So trigger generic copy pipeline. Generic copy pipeline. What is this? Wait on completion. Okay, let it be. Okay, let's provide the container. Landing container. Uh, let's say the file name. I want to configure this in the else activity. The file name should be people. I'll explain you one more time. Don't worry if you don't understand. Okay, in extension to the previous pipeline, I want to execute this copy activity in the else part. So folder is 2025 0, sorry, 2026 0507. and the file name is this one. So the target for the database it is DBO and the table name is people. The table name is not existing. We should make it to configure the auto create table. Okay, so this is the settings. Let's publish all of this. Okay, now come back to this and configure that in the else part. Go to activities here. Mm. So now let's use the execute activity because I have just shown this to make you understand. Let's debug this also so that you will get clarity. Assume we have some pipelines here and in extension to that I have used another one, or maybe instead of rewriting the pipeline again, I just use this activity to minimize the work. Okay, let's see. See here, it is executing generic copy. Instead of this execute pipeline, it is executing generic copy activity pipeline. Let's refresh it. Ideally, it will create the people table. Yes, this is done. Let's go to the database and see tables. Okay, maybe it's not refreshed, but let's query. Select star from people. Let's run this. Okay, we have the data for the people with 100 rows. Right. So now let's come back to our main pipeline. Here in the else part of the if condition, I want to execute. I want to use execute pipeline activity. So execute this. So let's see here if we can add generic copy pipeline. Yes, you can use this, or else let's say, and I'm not sure if we can execute the execute activity. It will become a nested activity. Inside the execute, we are using another execute. Okay, so anything is fine. Hope this works. Let's see. Let's try to debug this. So what we are doing, we are checking if the table product exists. If it exists, I'm getting the count of that. If after getting the count, I'm checking if the count is greater than 5,000, then I should copy customers. Otherwise, I should copy people. Okay, that in the else part, intentionally I have configured the execute pipeline activity using another execute. Okay, this execute is used to call one pipeline from another pipeline. Okay, so that we have also covered the execute activity. Maybe in the interviews they'll ask you how you can execute one pipeline from the other. So the answer is through the execute pipeline activity. So let's see if it is running or not. Yes, these two are successful, but this is fail. Let's see the reason. The function creator expects all of its parameters to be either integers or decimal numbers found invalid parameter object types. So the expression in the if condition is invalid. So let us see. First of all, look at the output of this. Copy this to clipboard. So I understood the issue, what is happening. See here, this is the first row, but there is, for the record count, there is no key available. This is an empty space. That's why it was not able to understand. So in order to get some value here, we need to make changes to the lookup activity. Let's go to lookup, go to settings. So we need to provide some alias name to the count as number of rows. Okay, so let's publish. publish means saving the code changes, I mean. Okay, so let's debug one more time. So you can now, once this runs, you will see the difference between the lookup activity output earlier and the current one. Okay, now the lookup is successful. See here for the record count 10,000, it is showing the number of rows as the key. Okay, sorry, we need to also configure that in the if condition. If condition will fail again. So let it be general activities. Here inside this activity, let's rewrite this expression. So we should use the greater function definitely. Greater returns true if the first argument is greater than the second. Yes, greater of the activity outputs that the lookup. Okay, first row dot after the first row. If you see here, where did I copy? After the first row, there is number of rows. I'll show you. After the first row dot number of rows. Okay, so this should be greater than 5,000 is my criteria. Click OK. And this activity is failed again. Okay, so now I have fixed the expression, publishing this and debugging it. And let's wait for a minute or two, it gets completed. So now the record count is 10,000. I have made the condition to check if it is greater than 5,000, right? So it definitely goes into the true condition and it will directly execute the copy activity in the true condition. So in the next run, I will intentionally make this pipeline go into the else part by providing greater than 10,000. Okay, so that we will know whether that execute activity is executing successfully or not. Okay, now this if condition is triggered and the copy customers is also triggered because it is greater than 5,000, so it should copy the customers table, else it should copy the other one, the people's table, right? So let it complete. Yes, customers table is created. Let's see. Okay, select star from customers. Sorry, what is the table name? Let us see what table name I have provided here. Copy activity, copy customers. Okay, customers latest. This is our table name. Okay, the data is loaded. See here, we have loaded the current timestamp as well. This is the load timestamp. Let's see what it is. Okay, 2:26. This is the timestamp in the UTC. UTC time zone is 5.5 hours behind the IST. So it is 2 o'clock and now it is 7 for us. Okay, so coming back, let's make this to get into the else part intentionally. Go to activities, make this condition. Let's make it as 11,000. Okay, publish, debug this pipeline. Okay, it is still running. Please wait for a minute or two. Okay, all of them are successful. Now the execute pipeline is also successful. Let us see the output of this. It See here, this execute pipeline is creating another pipeline run ID because this itself has to run another pipeline, right? So let's see if we got the data into the people's table. Okay, so earlier we have already 100 rows in the people table. Let's see how many we have people. Let's do count of star. Okay, 200 rows, which means earlier it has 100 rows and now again 100 rows were added to this. It has become 200. So it is clear that we are able to execute nested execute pipelines as well, meaning that inside a execute activity, sorry, inside a if condition, we are using execute pipeline, and inside this execute pipeline, we are calling another execute activity. Inside that execute activity, we have the copy activity. So it is like we are calling the execute activity two times, or it is nested one inside the other. Okay, so that's how it works. So now let us see some other activities. Okay, let's create a new pipeline. Uh, what is there in the general activities? Okay, let us see the stored, sorry, not stored procedure. For each activity, where is that for each? I think that would be under iterations. Okay, iterations and conditions. We have discussed if condition. Now let us see for each. For each means it is similar to for loop in Python. Okay, so let's say we have the list of files. The list of files should be loaded to the list of tables. For that, we need a for each activity. Let's say now in our data lake, let's upload another two files. Upload people and customers are there. Let's say products and organizations also, along with sales. Sorry, this is not required. Okay, these three files I'm uploading it to the current dates folder. Okay, so whatever files I have it here, I want to load it to the tables, corresponding tables. Okay, so these are the list of the files. I want to load them into the corresponding tables. So first of all, before writing a for each activity, try to get the metadata of this. Okay, so that we will get to, we don't know how many files are there in this. Right now we have uploaded, we know, but in the real time, we don't know how many files will be there in the today's folder. So for that, let's do a get metadata. Okay, so go to settings, select I'll create a new data set. Okay, the data sets would be of from data lake, Azure data lake, Azure data lake, and all of them are CSV files. So I'll name this as metadata file. Rolling service ADLS. So all of this I'll be providing it later. Click OK. So now open the field list. Before opening the field list, we should provide some paths here. So the directory is landing. Sorry, the container is landing and directory is, let's say, add dynamic content with the today's date. So functions, it should be concat. So I'm writing this function so that you will get habituated to this. Okay, concat of. First, we should get the year. For getting the year, we need to use format date time of. Here we should pass UTC. Out of that UTC, I want to pass year, which is 4 followed by a forward slash. So here it should close with the bracket. Again, let's copy this. For month, we should use MM. Again, followed by a forward slash. And then the date. Okay, so this is the expression to retrieve today's date, to check if it is today's date or not. The file name I am not going to provide. Okay, so let's try to come back to this and add the field list now. I want to get the child items. Okay, so let's try only until here. Let's delete this or else I'll add it later. Let's debug this. We'll go step by step. So the real-time scenarios will be like this. We don't know how many files will be there, but whatever comes into that location, we should load that into the tables. Is it running? Yes. So if I provide a file, it will not give me the child items. That's why I did not provide file. I have given only till the folder path. Okay, it was successful. Let us see. Okay, these are the child items available. Okay, these are the child items available. So into my next activity, uh, the next activity is for each activity. I need to loop through all of these files. Let me copy the output. Sorry. Let me copy the output of this to notepad. Okay. So these are my file names. There are 5 files. These are my file names. I want to copy to the corresponding tables. Okay, let's see now. Mm, use for each activity. Create a link. So if you do not create a link, so you will not be able to see uh, the output of this here. Okay, you will not be able to see the output of that here. So once you create a link, then only you will be able to see the output of the previous activity in the next activity. Now let us see. Okay, items, we should write a dynamic expression. Okay, so child items. Okay, I want to get the item name. Output dot item name. Let us see what is the item name here. One second, let's cancel this. Let's name it properly. Get child items. This is the name of the activity. Let us try to debug only till here. Debug until and run it only till here. So in the interviews, they'll ask you. You have a list of files. How do you copy that to the tables? If it is one file or two file, you can copy that manually by configuring the copy activity and passing the parameters to that. But if there are a bunch of files, you cannot keep on doing that process every time, right? So copy this, paste it here. There is no change in the output. Okay. Child items dot name. Let us see. Now remove this. Okay. So here we should provide the list of objects through which it needs to be iterated. So get child item name. I think it won't provide any item here. Mm, let's do one thing. I want to take this name. So this complete thing is considered as output and this is the child item out dot child items. Okay. So that will take the complete array, this complete list. First of all, let me tell you some simple for each activity. We'll come to this once again. Okay, let's create a new pipeline. So if I directly take you through this, it would be little confusing. So let me take a simple for each activity. Okay, for each. Let's say this time, till now we have copied the files from the data lake to the database. Now this time I'll do it the reverse way. From the tables, I want to load the data to files. Okay, let's say this products, organizations, people. I want to copy from tables to the files. Let's say for each table. The name of the activity is for each table. So items, what you want to iterate through. So one is products. So let's also write the schema dbo dot, or let's add a dynamic content. So for having a list, we have something called create array. Array means the list in Python. So inside this, we should add the values create array of dbo dot products. This is one of the table. Let's see the list of tips. In order to get the list of tables, I think we have information schemas. Let's start from information schemas dot tables. Let's try this. It works in Snowflake. Not sure if it works here. Yes, it is. So these are our list of tables. DBO products, organizations. Next is organizations. DBO dot organizations. And I'll have one more. Organizations and the people. Okay, DBO dot people. And let's say one more. Four tables I want to run parallelly. Sales table. Okay. DBO dot sales table. These are the list of tables I want to iterate through. Okay, so here we have an option called sequential and the batch count. So sequential means these tables has to be copied one after the other. Sequential means in a sequence one after the other. If you provide a batch count, it means that how many tables you want to run in parallel. Let's say I want to run two tables in parallel, two at a time. Okay. So let's see the batch first. Later we'll come to the sequential. So in the interviews, they'll ask you in the for each activity, all the objects, do they run in parallel or do they run in sequence? It depends on how you configure. Okay, there is no straight answer to that. It depends on how you configure. You have to say that there will be an option to configure either to execute in a sequence or to execute in a batch count. If you execute in a sequence, if you select the sequential, it will execute one after the other. But if you execute using the batch count, it will run the number provided here. Uh, that many number of tables will run in parallel. Okay, let's run this. Sorry, it is not completed. We have just given the list. What to do with that list? Okay, so maybe you want to do the copy or you want to get the count of each table. So whatever you want, you can do this. So let's say I'll just do the plain copy so that, I mean, till now we did not copy from database to a table. So let's do this now. Okay, so the source would be now a generic table. Okay, the source would be generic SQL table. Inside this, let's add the schema. Schema is, sorry, schema I have already configured in the for each activity. Let's remove that then. Go to settings. Anyways, we are providing schema here. So let's remove it. Because if we provide schema again there, it would become dbo dot. So it leads to syntax error. Just go with the table. Okay. So go to for each activities, configure the activity, copy. The name of this is copy for each course. Okay, the schema is fixed. It is DBO. The table name. We need to pick the table name from the for each activity. So for that, just click here so that it will take each item from the array. Okay, click OK. So the table. Use query or use table. Okay, let's directly use the table because I do not have any filters to be applied. If you want to write some queries, you can write it. So for now, I'll go with the table. Okay, if you want any new columns, you can add it here. So let's say I want to have the table name. Table name. So how do you get the table name? From the for each activity. Okay, so now go to the sink. Where do you want to load this? Into the data lake, into processed container. Okay, let us see if we have the processed container or not. Go to here. Okay, processed container is available. Into the processed container, let's say I want to load into the today's date folder. Okay, so let's generate that function. Concat of format date time of UTC. Sorry, let's write UTC here. UTC now. From this UTC, I should select the year followed by a forward slash followed by month. Okay, for month it is upper MM followed by the date which is DD. And forward slash is not required after the date. Okay, one extra bracket is there. Okay, somewhere something is missing. Okay, here it is. Okay, we are good. So I want to load into the today's date folder, and the file name should be same as that of the table name. Okay, so with the table name followed by .csv. Okay, so let's write concat of table name followed by .csv. Okay, that's my file name. So leave about all of that. Let's make the extension as CSV. The file extension used to it will be ignored if the output is okay. So if we have configured the file name, then this would be ignored. That is what it is trying to say. Okay, good. Let's come back to for each activity. Now let's run it. Debug. So inside the processed folder, it has to create inside the processed container. It has to create a folder with the today's date, and inside that it should create the tables. I mean the files. We copy for each one of them is successful. What it is? 10,000 rows. Maybe the product one. As I said, I have set the batch. Sorry, batch count to 2. If you remember, let's go to this for each settings. See, the batch count is 2. So while this pipeline is running, if you see these two for each activity is triggered at the same time, 820 at 32 seconds. And another two, they should trigger at the same time, but there is a slight delay at 2 seconds, but that's fine. So the two activities will run in parallel with that batch count. Okay, that's the meaning. If you run it in the sequential, it will wait for the first copy activity to complete and then the next one will get triggered. Okay, right. This is done. Now let's go to the processed container and see. Refresh. See here the folder is created with a month and a date followed by all the files with .csv. These are the name of the tables followed by with extension .csv. Okay. So you can look at the data if it is proper or not. Okay, the file size is greater. Let's look at any smaller file. Okay, see here it is loaded as a comma separated file. Fine. Products is a large file. We cannot open that. So sales, I think that is also a too large file with 1 lakh rows. Okay, no. Sorry, it is sales one with 5,000 rows. Okay, got it. So the data is copied properly now. Now let's go to the other activity we are doing. Okay, so using this, let's see. Sorry, what did I configure in the for each? Go to settings. So here we should use the child items. So child items, list of subfolders and files in the given folder. Yes, let's use this. Okay, this array is a list of the child items. Click OK. So now go inside this copy activity. Sorry, for each activity and configure. Let us say I will configure a lookup activity so that I want to get. I don't know if we can get a count on lookup for a file. Let us see what we can do with this. Source dataset is generic lake files. Okay. The container is landing and the folder is whatever folder you have provided in the metadata, the same folder I should provide it here. Go to main pipeline. Let's see the settings. Open this. Okay, the same thing I need to provide it here. I mean the today's date. Okay, go to this. Sorry. Inside for each activities. Look up, open. Sorry, 1 second. Okay, this is the lookup. So I have taken generic files. This is landing. Yep. This is the folder. So for the file, I want to add from the dynamic content. Okay, for each object in that. Okay. Now, okay. So here it is showing first row only. Let's remove that. Okay. For the files, lookup is not the best thing. Let's use a copy. Okay. Source is this time it would be files because we have got the list of files available in a particular location. So the files they are in the landing and the expression is with the today's timestamp and the file. Let's add that file from the for each activity. Okay, source is configured. Go to sync. Let's say sync is generic table. Schema is DBO. And the table name, let's add table name as where is this functions at the rate concat of I want to add for each followed by uh, for each I mean whatever is the name of the file that should be the name of the table with for at the end. Okay, underscore for. Let us see if this works or not. Okay, I want to create tables, not do anything into the existing tables. So that's it. Let's configure the name of this copy for each file. Okay, come to pipeline. This is, sorry, name of the pipeline is get metadata for each. Okay, so publish all of these changes. Okay, come back to the main pipeline. Get metadata for each. So, oh, where is that? Where did we configure the for each? Let me close out. What is this pipeline to? This is just a for each. Publish. Okay, generic takers. Let's see where our pipeline is. Author tab. Okay, metadata for each. What? Why have configured the if active for each also, right? Inside this. 1 second. Let's see. Where did I do that? This if condition. This is lookup. Something wrong. Let's configure it quickly. Or let's see if we have it anywhere. Okay. Let's drag and drop for each. So what is there inside this? Okay, child items. This is fine. Now after the child items, search for each. Create a link between these two. Now go to for each copy. I'll name it as for each copy. Go to settings. This should be child items. Okay, so now go to activities, configure a copy, drag and drop this copy. The source should be files, generic files. The sink should be generic tables. Let's fill these details. Container is landing, and this expression, let's add it quickly with the today's date folder. I want to have this expression with the today's date folder. The system variables functions. Okay, concat of format date of. Let's write it here. Concat of format date of. Inside this we should have UTC. Out of this UTC you should get the year part here, followed by a forward slash. Again the month part, month, followed by date. So no forward slash after the date. Sorry, why we have for here. Okay, so inside that, let's get the file name from for each activity. So I think this item will have the list of dictionaries. This item will have the list of dictionaries like this. So out of this, I want to get this name. Let us see how it works. Okay, let's pass it this way. Let's see how it will take. Now go to the sink. The table name is DBO. Sorry, the schema is DBO and the table name is, so let's say at the rate concat followed by the for each name with underscore for. Okay, so I want to auto create the table. Yes, now the source and sink are configured. Let's go to this, publish all of this first. Okay, meanwhile, let it publish. We'll see. Publishing is completed. Let's try to debug. Let's wait if it completes. Okay, child items is successful. Copy activities, let us see what is happening. Okay, all of them are failed. Let's see the error message. Because an inner activity failed. So let's see what is taking as the input. Item count is 5. Did I take item count? Let's see the copy data. It was not able to understand properly the file name. Okay, let's go to for each. Go to settings. Child item. Still here it is fine. So this child items will give completely this bracket. So go to activities. So for each object, when I say at the rate item, this at the rate item will take this part. Okay, name and the type. So let's configure this. Go to source. The file name should be item dot name. This name. Item will take this complete whatever I have highlighted. That will be the item name. So out of that, I should take name. Okay, just the name, not item name. So here it is name. That's why just take the name. Let's see with this. And even in the sync also, item dot name followed by for. Let's publish and debug. These kind of scenarios are really important because this is what we usually follow in the real time. Okay, all of them are triggered. Let's see. Okay, now all of them are getting succeeded. Let us see. Okay, here it was not showing the table or the file names. Let's see. Okay, so the data is written. All of them are successful. Let's go to database and see. Let's refresh this. Because the table names I have suffixed with for underscore for so that you will see the new tables created with the file names. You log in and expand this tables. Let's expand this. Okay, see here, whatever is underscore for, all of them are created using the activities we have executed now. Let's see the data now. Sorry. Copy name. Select star from this table. Let's run it. Okay, so some issues with the table name. Let's see, select. Okay, so if there are some spaces or some special characters in the table name, it is better to enclose in the double quotes, the table name enclose in the double quotes or in this brackets. Okay, now you are getting the data. So it means you can verify the other tables while you are practicing. So the same, the data is uploaded. So that's about the for each activity. So I'll stop it here. So tomorrow we will discuss few other activities and getting the data from API. I'll show you. Okay. So please let me know if you have any questions so far. Otherwise, I'll stop it here. Thank you. You can drop off if you don't have any questions.